All right, it started. Just a minute here. Hello and welcome to some Freebird Rules Radio late night edition. My name is Brett Payne. I'm joined by Kevin. You know him on Twitter as DuYarvish, DuYarvish. And we wanted to put a show out. We want to continue bringing more content to those of you out there that love wrestling but haven't quite found the right wrestling podcast or wrestling community to be a part of. You know, that's our venture right now. I do have to let you know, this is, you know, as a host, I am a part-timer when it comes to the wrestling right now. I've had a hard time keeping up with it, a lot of it. G1's going on. Best in the World just happened. WWE SummerSlam ramp-up is going on. There's a lot happening in the world of professional wrestling. And so tonight we're going to focus a little bit more on the WWE and what their plans are going to be leading up into SummerSlam. The G1, expect some coverage when we get closer to the finish or even when it's all done. That way we can have a chance to all look at our matches and really break it down as a whole package instead of just giving you a bunch of information before, you know, we've seen the whole thing. So without any further ado, let's get into this pile of garbage that's the WWE.
All right, well...
I'm not trying to be that negative. That was horrible. I really wasn't.
Yeah, no, but, you know, this show was too long, but it really wasn't bad.
Good.
Like, the things that mattered on this match were fine.
Yeah, I think that we're leading towards something that is huge. SummerSlam is always something that they, you know, treat with a certain amount of respect that's almost equal to WrestleMania, you know, where they really do make sure it's good. So what we're getting right now, I guess, is you know, can be hard to keep up with or pay attention to the whole time, but at least it's not, you know, horrendous.
Yeah, I don't know. The main event on this show was a Seth Rollins John Cena match that...
Oh, God damn it. Now, why did they do that?
Well, they probably did it because they didn't book either of the part-timers for this, so they needed some reason for people to watch.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I actually...
Like, if they announced the main event of this was Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, they probably would have lost 100,000 viewers right there.
Sure, they don't have... Yeah, you're right. Now that you say it, their main event guys are people that can't be there to just huff out a match on a Monday night.
Yeah, like, these are guys fans will want to see, but, like, you can't headline shows with these guys.
And now that they've taken pretty much two separate programs they had going on and mashed them together, you know, it's left this, like, void of time or void of, you know, interest in anything that isn't those two guys, you know. And then to have to put it on TV, man, it really sucks. Like, you know, I think Japan gets a pass because not every fan keeps up with their week-to-week going on or their house shows or anything like that. It becomes a big event thing. WWE has a lot of time to fill. I just hate it when they give you the match before the pay-per-view. I always feel like they cheated me because I wanted to go to the big show and see it. You know, I didn't want to have a sneak peek.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that they don't have enough employees because they do, but like 85% of the people employed by this company are geeks that no one wants to see.
Yeah, it's
you really only have the same four guys that flop around in the main event every week because none of these guys are good. Yeah, or no one buys any of these guys having a chance to win, so there's no point in putting it on.
Right, and then you have, you know, people getting injured, and it screws up everything. They were hoping one guy was going to hold the Intercontinental title, and now everyone else that you ruined or didn't even make look strong, you know, is is exposed or is out there. Like, I mean, we have nothing to work with if it isn't that main event, and they still just continue to fail on that front, and it is frustrating as a fan.
Yeah, it just makes the shows boring. It makes them long.
So, do you have our card here? Do you have it in front of you? What do we see here on Raw tonight?
We start off with an Authority promo.
Got it.
They didn't really say anything.
Yeah, it's the tradition at this point. You know, I don't know if I guess WWE has in their mind that Authority is going to be around forever. I don't know if
I don't think they didn't turn face yet, but they're pretty much there.
Almost on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do anything, I think, to be the main attraction, but it's also kind of odd because that's kind of historically what wrestling is about as well, you know? It's like the people that bitch and moan about the way that WWE does it is the same way that Vern Gagne did it, is the same way, you know, that most small-time promoters did it, is they keep it close to the chest when it comes to the prestige and the airtime and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like, I missed the opening promo and the first two matches of this, just from being at work. So I'm basically reading what happens. It looks like they completely did a babyface promo. They just announced all the matches, and then they gave the fans what they wanted instead of giving them what they want.
Well, that's nice of them. They're usually so shrewd when it comes to the matches that we want to see.
Yeah, like I said, this might be wrong because I just flat out didn't see this, and I just got home to watch it now. But I don't know. This is becoming Bella Twin style booking that it's just you don't know what they are anymore. They don't have clearly defined characters, so no one wants to see them.
Yeah, they come out and they become that person you love to hate, or they become something in the middle, and then they can't quite go back to the other thing, and then you're kind of lost at what's going on. You know, you really want someone to root for, you know, at least to know where they stand.
Or even someone to root against, not just someone who exists.
True, absolutely. But, you know, I mean, like, I guess that's just something we have to accept, man. We just got to swallow this. This is their idea of the top wrestling, you know. This is what they put out there. They're obsessed with this authority aspect of it. You know, I guess until Triple H can't wrestle anymore.
Even then, it's the only thing that's worked for them. So this is kind of just what they're going to stick with.
Yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, the problem is though, their events are so big time. This SummerSlam is going to be, I believe, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it should be good.
But the making it through the other stuff is, you know, where is tough, you know. But when it's good, it's good, you know. It's the whole sweet ride of the entire thing. Like when they really catch on to something, you're like, you know, catching the wave of Daniel Bryan was like an amazing part of my life, you know, that I don't know if I'll ever forget, you know, or at least, you know, it's going to stick in the back of my mind. There's guys I rooted when I was a kid that, you know, was the same way, so.
But I think you're really going to remember Randy Orton versus Sheamus.
I got to see these guys club it out. You know, Sheamus, who you never know if he'll win or lose. I mean, he looks like a pretty imposing guy, but, you know, that dude will get rolled up pretty easily by anybody.
He got tricked into kissing Dolph Ziggler's ass in whichever one of the shitty V pay-per-views it was. What was that one? Battleground? He had to do the kiss my ass match?
No, I'm
sorry. It was the kiss me arse.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, we have to go with the overseas slang for that.
I have to respect the stipulation here.
Yes, it was about people's arse. Nothing lewd. Nothing that would make the USA Network mad if they said it out loud. So I guess really then what happened if besides the authority on Raw then? I mean, is there much else? Big Show is happening.
Is Big Show still actually in the authority?
You know what? I
They
think
haven't really referenced it in a while.
he's kind of a lone wolf, I think. If he's just walking out to the ring and punching people anymore, who knows where he stands?
Like, Big Show was positioned as the clear babyface when The Miz was making fun of him 2 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
why are they doing this?
Yeah, I mean, they got a decent reaction with that punch.
Well, people want The Miz to shut up.
Yeah, he is good for that. I mean, that is one thing I like about the guy.
The Miz is, I think The Miz and Titus O'Neil are, like, the same person in different bodies, and both of them are, like, perfect wrestlers. They both have great looks. They can both talk really well, but neither guy can actually wrestle.
Yeah, well, it just doesn't all come together to make it an exciting experience. You know, the way that everything else looks.
As soon as they finish talking and have to have a match, you just don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, I love that sweater thing that The Miz wears on his fucking head or whatever that scarf hood.
The stupid Jedi robe he wears.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so pretentious. It really works so well for me. And I guess does he have? What's going on with him at SummerSlam then?
I don't think he's gonna. You know, I guess they're gonna hold Ryback's back by then and then have the match.
Okay. I didn't know. I haven't seen any updates on Ryback's health.
Yeah, neither have I. I have no idea what's going on with him. And I'm a bit behind on most of the not actually on the show's news.
Yeah. I try. I mean, most of it bubbles up to the surface. I like and interact with enough wrestling stuff to get an update pretty quickly. And then it's been pretty silent. I think he just was like he's hurt now. That's all I know.
Yeah, I know he's hurt, and they said it was a staph infection, although that could totally just be a shot at CM Punk. I don't know.
You think he's just
I hope it is.
Troll.
I'm saying this, and I haven't read a single thing on this. I have no idea if that's the actual injury or not.
Okay. It makes sense to me.
Giving it to Ryback, of all people, is perfect.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. Maybe the lawsuit is wrapping up soon, and they're just going to give him one last fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people hate them for this, but I love how petty they actually get over things.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really take that out of them. Like that, they're not like a corporate. Like I know they're a corporation now, but the seed that sprouted all of this is like just really hucksters that are vindictive and crazy as hell.
Yeah, they are. For all they've changed, they're still the same.
Yeah, it's just they just get a new skin to put over the whole thing. So actually, we can let's jump onto a tangent here and get in something real heavy. How did you feel about the Hulk Hogan news?
I mean, I don't want to say surprised because, I mean, I've read the Hulk Hogan's restaurant sign, the dress code, so yeah, he's probably a racist, but I guess knowing it is just kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't mean to be this way, and Brian was like, we need to do a show about this. We should do a thing. And I was like, what for? Like, what's the premise? And I was kind of jaded about it because I had also seen that dress code to Hing spot down there in Florida. But I also just felt like, for a guy his age that's in the profession that he's in, like knowing my dad and knowing the people around, I guess it doesn't surprise me. But you are right. When you hear it, though, it does make a different thing. It's one thing to say oh, he's probably a closet racist, and then to actually hear him say something just so vile when you're just like, oh man, you're just a monster for saying some of that shit.
I don't know. It's just he's a shitty racist old man. And
yeah.
It's disappointing to see him not taking any responsibility for this and just trying to play it off as he didn't know any better.
Yeah, and
It would have been a lot better to come out and say, just, all right, I fucked up, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, he's spinning this into like a way to get Twitter likes and retweets and faves and all of that. It seems like he's trying to be a little ironic about it or something, but it really is something. It really is as simple as saying like, that was horrible shit I said, and I shouldn't say that whether or not, even if I know someone's recording me or not, that's just not something to put out in the atmosphere.
It's just a really shitty thing, and it's disappointing to actually see that the guy's clearly learned nothing from what he did, and probably never will.
Yeah, and it's not like he doesn't have a reputation among wrestling fans. I think that is the difference, is that guys like us that delve too deeply into the backstories and like dirt sheets and all this shit behind the scenes, it's not like when the people that were kids, that watched him in WrestleMania, the first WrestleManias there, and then find this shit out. It is a real punch in the gut.
I don't know. I think this is a man who probably since the late 80s has not ever been told no for anything. People have just been shoveling money at him for ever now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now he's kind of hit that point where he's... there would be a point, if this was 10 years ago, they would have done everything they could to shovel this and pretend it never happened, but he's just not that important to them anymore.
Yeah, I think...
So now he has to deal with the fact that he's actually responsible for something.
Yeah, the isolation is going to set in at some point.
Realizing he doesn't have the millions of dollars worth of PR they do anymore. That's completely all gone.
Yeah, the legal experts and all the backing and the support and the spin and any of the... Yeah, you're right.
They're not going to send their corporation of lawyers to save him now. He's on his own.
Yeah. I mean, and it's shitty, and it does look bad for pro wrestling, but it's a part of it. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's anything to shy away from. It's something that's there, but it is going to be weird moving forward to think about him. And just thinking those, that's that Dog the Bounty Hunter got caught saying the same exact shit.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like I said, it's not surprising, especially in the climate of the world that we're in now anymore. But that's also not fair to say, because when it's out there, it's just so bad. So that's enough. I wasn't trying to bring the whole mood down or anything.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get your take on it, because the Hulk Hogan is. I mean, he's like the North Star.
He's the biggest icon in wrestling.
Yeah, he's the North Star. Everything, is related to him in some way for most of us that, are fans these days.
Yeah, he's basically been everywhere and done everything.
Yeah, in so many different ways. And it really just is a shitty thing to do. But, I think... we'll move on. People are moving on. I don't know. I see a lot of people complain. I've seen a few people complaining, but not enough for me to think it's an issue, Yeah,
I don't know. I think people didn't really care. The only time Hulk Hogan did anything anymore is he'd come on to shill for something.
Right, yeah. He was there too.
When he was coming on TV, you knew there was not going to be anything important. So I think people who have seen him for years now just don't care.
Yeah, really all he's missing out on now is getting new eyeballs.
Yeah, he's just... So I just don't think the fans care anymore.
Yeah, and it'll be easy to move on. I think it will be easy to move on. I don't it's weird to think.
Yeah, I think because his time is over.
Yeah, it's just closing a chapter on a book, really, for that part of it. The other stuff still exists. His matches are still there. All of that is one thing.
But not going to be remotely hurt by this.
Yeah, it's not.
Nothing's changing.
It's not taking wrestling away from us, but it is now. A guy's been outed, and it's just you have to. We live in a post racist Hulk Hogan world now.
Yeah, instead of just a probably present one.
Right, probably instead of a just keep your mouth shut and show us
Yeah.
your guns type.
It's like, all right, this guy is, let's be real, there was not a very big chance of this guy not being a racist.
He has a dyed blonde goatee. I mean, he's trouble. He's from Florida.
Yeah, he's not good.
But now we have him out. What filled up, actually, what was the Diva section of Raw then?
Okay, let me just go through. I feel like we missed something I saw.
Probably.
Yeah, well, the first two matches were Big Show and Dean Ambrose, and Big Show won by count out. And, alright, it looks like The Miz was on commentary for this. Like I said, I didn't see this. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry about making this sound unprofessional, but I was at work. It was still a little busy at this point.
Hey, that's what I really want this to be, though. I really want our show to be like people that don't spend their entire lives or existence watching wrestling, that do other things, but still can't get enough wrestling and keep up with it. So
I don't know. Yeah, it feels unprofessional that I didn't see any of these, but
think about me.
How many Big Show matches have you seen in your lifetime? It was probably that.
Yeah, I saw one in person, and I think that was enough. Like, it was cool to see it one time in person, but I had my fill.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. He is large. And
yeah, big as hell.
When people lift him, it is still genuinely impressive.
Yeah, that was the big the lead up to that match. The lead up to the Ryback and Big Show challenge when he did that shell shocked on TV. That was another moment similar to the John Cena versus Seth Rollins, where I was like, God damn it, just keep something special for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's like when they let Ryback lift him in the first thing, like, why not wait to put this on SummerSlam? Like, that's the whole big build-up, then when he finally does it. But that's them. They think that if the Big Show's on TV, he either needs to win or be lifted. And those are the only two. Like, you can't beat him unless you can physically lift him.
Right.
It's the only way to take him down is to throw him off your shoulders.
It's his Achilles heel.
You can like shoot him in the shin or something, and he'll still get a 2 count. But
better not. If you put him up in the air, he can't stand a fall.
No, I mean that's probably realistic though.
His big ass equilibrium gets off kilter.
I don't know. It's not like if you can like sweep the Big Show's legs and put him in an armbar, there's no way he's getting out, right? Like
I don't know how that works, man. He just probably lays flat like a stone.
Yeah, like Matt trying but the thing is, for his size, he never looks that slow for all things considered.
Yeah, I agree. He's pretty impressive. He's adding like the top rope to his repertoire and everything even now.
Yeah, so. But if in theory, like they have these smaller guys who are fast and they can do real submissions, like shouldn't it be really, really easy for these guys to beat this guy?
You know what? I always think of like the giant guys like his just arms are too big. It's like trying to do an armbar in a tree trunk. Like, how are you going to make any progress?
Yeah, that's true.
That's how
I don't know. It's just weird.
Big Show there's a guy that they have that could be like a special attraction, and he's not. And even like you said, wrestling is one of the few forms of entertainment where you could literally get people out of their seats screaming and yelling by a smaller guy like Ryback trying to put him up on his shoulders. You know what I mean?
The smaller guy like Ryback.
Yeah, the little fella.
Little guy.
Pipsqueak. But I'm serious. How many times you could just tease it? And then he gets out of it.
And then if he's just not strong enough to actually get him up, this is what they should. This is like in Vince's head. This is how they got Roman Reigns over, but then they forgot Roman Reigns can't do lift moves.
Right. It's not his forte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the scenario they laid out, and then they realize, okay, well we did this whole thing, but the guy can't actually do the lift.
Yeah, and that's not going to be a convincing defeat of Big Show. That guy has to leave the
Hmm.
ground because
Yeah, he didn't do it. No, but I think he if he can jump up, which is amazing on that guy's knees, that he can get up anywhere.
Sure. Yeah, they man, I think it's just one of those things that he is just going to be around. I don't know if we can ever expect any sort of rhyme or reason to what the Big Show does in the WWE from this point on. I mean, we've just hit the jump the shark phase and have now entered into this really weird arena where one week he'll come out and punch a guy in the face that we all hate, and then sometimes he'll join up with the Authority and
I don't
take
know.
down
He
our
does. He
favorite
does
guy.
whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's a
Or
renegade.
whatever they decide to pay him to do that week. I respect the Big Show's life choices for all. He's just looking out for himself, and that's it.
Yeah, but still, it was probably a bad look a couple years ago when they had Stephanie slapping him in the face, saying that she owned his house and everything. That was that was really a touching,
I think the Big Show is really lucky that anyone who's not a part-timer, their storylines are retconned out after 2 months of them happening.
Yeah, they get to come back. Everybody, I mean, yeah, people are gone for a few months and they come back to just wild cheers.
Yeah, but then on TV they just don't want to. They just don't want to acknowledge what they were doing. Unless they're wrote off to film a movie, then they don't acknowledge something from 2 or 3 months ago ever.
Oh yeah. Unless you're the Big Show.
It's like they're starting a Seth Rollins and Cena feud again when people forget that we just had one of those.
When was that?
4 or 5 months ago.
Damn. That is. It seems like wrestling changes so quickly, but this, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't feel like it's been set up properly. I'm not amped enough for it. I think the match will be good though. Man, Cena is always as good as the guy he goes against, and Seth Rollins is someone you can depend on for good matches.
I don't know. I think we have to start giving Cena credit when you consider how much money Cena makes compared to some of these guys, and then some of the moves he was taking from Kevin Owens for a guy who was, for all inherent purposes in their world, a nobody, and he's taking a superplex reversed into a moonsault.
So what are you saying about Cena then?
I'm saying that the guy does bust his ass.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to make it a way into dogging him, and I was like,
no,
I don't know.
No, you have to give the guy a lot of credit for some of the shit he'll do.
Yeah, I think he tries. I mean, the guy is really hard to separate from his character.
He's legitimately one of the best of all time in what he does.
Yeah, and it seems like Kevin Owens juiced him up to the point where he was like, all right, I'll learn new stuff then. This old dog will learn new tricks. I don't care. And some of them are wonky, and it's a really weird thing, but
when he did the front flip power bomb.
Oh yeah.
And some of these moves, just imagining a guy this size doing them, are so good.
Yeah, he's action figure man. He's the most unproportional man that there is.
It's he's the guy you would create in a video game when you were in the 3rd grade. Yeah, he would be so he's huge, he's jacked, he never loses, but he can also do flips and shit.
Yeah, and springboards and things like that you don't see from other people. It's a weird thing where he just demands, I guess, being on top that much, being in that arena. He's like, I'll at least give it a shot. I'll compete. Yeah, I'll try to do a goddamn Hurricane Rana on you.
It's I just like to imagine that he's really living the character at this point.
Yeah, I think he believes it, man. I think he's just in a cycle. I think he's on autopilot. He has figured it out, man. He's aced life. He set his goals and achieves them and then maintains them through constant mastery and challenge.
Yeah,
He's killing it.
He is gonna go until he cannot go anymore.
Yeah, that is something weird, man. When you look at like Ric Flair hanging around and some of the older people as they age, like to think of an older John Cena just seems out of this world.
I think once he loses the figure, he'll go.
You think once the abs disappear or something? Once the little flab?
I think once he's just no, I think he can deal with flab as long as the arms are still huge, just because he'll wrestle in one of his ridiculous t-shirts.
Good idea.
But I think like once you really see him thinning, or you see him getting like, or once you see him start, what's the word, like flabby on the face and stuff, I think is when he really goes.
Sure. Yeah.
I think like the appearance is so much of the Cena mystique. Yeah. That without it, he's just not the same anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's like Ric Flair. You didn't care if he was 20 or 50, because it wasn't about how he looked; it was how he acted.
Yeah, it became he was a group of movements. He was just mannerisms that we were like just
like you'd go see him. He'd do the same routine every time, but you loved it every time.
Yeah, doing the old soft shoe, same old, just doing that dance for it that everybody wants to see. Cena has achieved that. He really is like on another level where it seems corny or it seems like something dismissive, but it's also hard to deny what the hell we are dealing with when we are paying attention. When John Cena is in the room, when John Cena exists, like he has a lot of gravity.
Everyone has some opinion of him.
Sure. Yeah, he's unavoidable. But I think, wrestling at this point where we're at seems to be moving into a lot of other arenas. I don't know if it's because I'm paying a lot more attention to it over the past couple years, but it does seem to be getting a little bit more mainstream than it was before, with like people, Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins making appearances on ESPN, and the Ronda Rousey stuff that's been going on. They really have kind of moved it into, I guess, a more pop culture venue, like more regular people. I saw like Complex Magazine was reporting on what happened in wrestling,
Yeah, like these things, like people are covering it now because I think they realize the audience is bigger than they thought, and it's not the same demographic they thought.
Yeah,
like, I think people think it's really largely kids
or simple people. They think they assume it's like a simple Southern people.
Yeah, and I think the demographic now, like people are saying, that's not all it is.
Yeah, you find out that a lot of people that are fans of it are a part of a more like intelligista type crowd, or just high-minded, understanding wrestling from more than what goes on in the ring. Where smarks are, people say smark is like it's derogatory, but just paying attention to the whole product and trying to understand it, as its own like living biome, like what it is. It's just so outrageous.
Yeah, like there are people who like this is their whole life.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, they want to get you involved. They make it 24 hours, and they try to make something sensational to say about it. They want to be the ESPN of themselves, But at the same time, I think there's just a way to engage with wrestling that is beyond, simple who the guy you want to root for. They've made it something else. Like Brian keeps sharing these articles about how they're going to make SummerSlam 4 hours, and they're going to make like the Raw before it 4 hours, and that just to me seems like trying to piss off the fans. Like we just complained about how bad Raw is and unimportant it is to watch. It just seems like a move to fuck with us, and you never really could know if it is or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they do little things, but like I think the state of the show right now is nothing to do with that.
Sure, I can agree with that, but it just is fun. I think it's just a fun aspect of it that I think more people are coming around to. I guess as it achieves wider audience. Like even Bleacher Report has a wrestling section now.
Yeah.
So what else do we have on this Raw here?
All right, next. Well, then there was Neville vs. Fandango, which I watched while we were talking, so I didn't have to say I skipped all the matches. And it's Neville won. The main point is they're pushing Stardust as a supervillain to incite that actor from I know the
Arrow.
show. Arrow, yeah. Yeah, and the lead actor is going to do something with is going to do something with Stardust at SummerSlam. I'm assuming the guy has no training, so I'm guessing Neville is going to be the superhero in this feud.
Yeah.
And it'll be a tag match with I guess who would tag Stardust?
Yeah, he doesn't have. I can't think of any allies for him, really.
Yeah, Goldust is hurt and I think retired. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a 2-on-1?
Yeah, or you might have.
Or Arrow's just on the side.
Yeah, or Arrow is
or Arrow's just on the side, then he'll come in at the end to punch him or something and lay him out. I don't know what the superhero on the show does.
Yeah, I don't know if he gets maybe he gets saved by Neville. Like Neville comes out and says like, I'm not gonna let this happen, and breaks up something with Stardust going on.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for this.
I like what. I don't grumble much about pop culture appearances on WWE. I enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't care. I think they're fine. And every once in a while, you get a really funny one.
Yeah, or you get like the MGK getting power bombed was cool.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, getting to laugh at the pictures of Jay Leno, like having Hogan sell for a hair pull is well worth having to have the shitty concert in the middle of WrestleMania.
Right. Sometimes Kid Ink is going to come out or whatever it is, but they do I think they actually do a much better job. It's really weird. Sometimes their production and like media department is light years ahead of what their like wrestling vision is, because they will get some people on there where I'm like, this is pretty popular stuff. But maybe not. But for wrestling fans, it'll fall flat. It doesn't really matter. But how popular it is, I mean, it's always funny. But I do like any special appearance, so I'm not going to complain about Arrow being there.
Yeah, that's fine. It gives Stardust something to do. It gives these guys something to do, and the show's going to be really long. So if they give 20 minutes to these guys, you're not really going to be that upset.
Yeah, I would love to see Neville do some flying flip and kick Stardust in the face.
Yeah, it's like, would you rather see 20 minutes of that and then have the inevitable Sheamus and Randy Orton match, or would you rather have just a 45-minute Sheamus versus Randy Orton?
Yeah, like we don't need that. Let's siphon some time away.
Do you want to watch that? Because I don't. You can split it up into smaller things, and it's fine as long as it's not the main stuff.
WWE, man, they got to tell some of their guys how to do like a tight 13. They got to start training these guys to just, not have to draw it out so much. I think not do their rest holds. They're
all either trained to go 20 minutes or more, or they're trained to go 5 or under.
Yeah, it's either like, it's a 4-minute, like, we got commercial break, you need to get out there and get pinned, son, or it's like filling up a whole segment and it's 26 minutes of just walking around the ring and breathing hard. So what else? What else is going on here in our?
All right. Next we had Sasha Banks versus Paige, which went long. It actually went exactly 13 minutes, like you just said.
Okay, I like that. I mean, that's good for me because you can. It's like watching a really like epic match at fast forward.
Yeah, you skip the rest holds.
Right, you just don't have to worry about like doing too many back and forth punches or anything.
Mhm. Yeah, this was
How was it?
Yeah, Paige versus Sasha Banks. It was good. Like I don't know if I've talked about my hatred of Paige on here.
I don't know of it. Please elaborate.
Yeah, I just hate Paige.
You know what?
Looks wise, she looks exactly like someone I know in real life and someone I really don't like. And just so from the second I saw her, I already made up my mind.
You know what?
This was good.
I know plenty
Sasha
of
looked
ladies
really
like
strong.
that.
She won clean.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I know plenty of ladies like that as well, and I wouldn't hold that against Paige. But I did watch her in NXT, and even when after she debuted, her stuff with AJ, I thought was so awkward and weird. It just looked like
But I think AJ is even worse than her.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that because when they were having their feud and their weird like frenemy thing relationship that was going on, the matches came off so piss poor and terribly. But like Paige has this like they talk about her lineage as the Knight family, from the UK. I'm still waiting. I hope that this injection of new talent will do something. And I guess you said you liked the match though, right?
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of two ways. I think the wrestling podcast, and the wrestling community might have swayed me. When the NXT ladies debuted on Raw, I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't really see a reason to get mad about it.
I think my take on it was it wasn't good, but knowing their weird politics and them, there was basically no way to get it through any better.
Yeah, that's true. If you have to do it in one shot.
There was no explainable or good reason to. There was no explainable or good reason to involve Stephanie, but at the same time, there was zero chance she wasn't going to.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's like a shot in the ass. I mean, it really was just like if you're going to take them and just throw them in the middle of everything, like it has to be blunt. And Stephanie McMahon is definitely the tool for that operation. The problem is do we continue doing the same diva stuff that they've been doing? The complaints we have about the Bellas with not having any idea of who exactly they're supposed to be, or whether or not we're supposed to like them. The muddy booking of most of the rest of it, most of the rest of the division. Just adding some people is not necessarily a way to say you've revitalized it. You can still add people into your shitty formula. So a 13-minute match is promising, especially with those two, and you liked it. I think that I'm sure the fans will too. I mean, once you see it, it's hard to not enjoy it.
And I think one of the weird things about Sasha Banks is probably the first person I can remember, at least since basically other than her and Kevin Owens, they're letting her legitimately work like as an independent heel would, and not as one of their like comical ones would.
Right. No, they're not an action figure. They're not like a pawn. They're not a pawn of the WWE creative.
They're letting her like work legitimately, just as a legitimate heel, and it's good. Like these aren't the normal women who just have a slap fight and are angry. They're actually letting her work with some personality.
Yeah, which is nice, and this is exactly what we want to see. So that is promising.
Like the story is still that. Basically, they're just angry women being angry about something, but the matches are better. So I guess that's as much of a win as you can ask for, knowing them.
Yeah, and all that we need to do is get into the habit of seeing the really good matches, and the storylines can become something different along with that. But the matches are really what are going to catch people, I think.
Yeah, and I think they're going to stick with this hard, and I think it'll eventually work. Just because they're going to push it really hard.
Yeah, and I
think they realize from the UFC that women can actually be famous and stars if you give them a chance.
Yeah, it can be tough, and
so now I think they're going to want to push people like that, or basically just like Ronda Rousey, because they might be able to make money on it.
Yeah, that seems to be their prototype, or at least the idea of, closer to the idea of what they think when they're, up at night trying to make money, dreaming up more ways to make money. It does seem like a good move for them to be like, no, we have legitimate wrestling women out here. They go out there and they really kill each other.
Yeah, like that sounds about right. But then speaking of the woman, we have I was right on this in that I said this Rusev Dolph Ziggler Lana thing would finally be good once Dolph Ziggler was gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's going on with it?
Well, now Rusev is got Summer Rae to act like Lana.
Yeah, I did see. I saw her put up that
Mhm.
bun and put on the black skirt suit.
And that's it. And so they came out. And Rusev made fun of Ziggler a little bit for not being there. And then Rusev gave Summer Rae a fish and suggested they called it Lana. And then Lana came out and was all upset. And then Lana got up to the ring, and somehow Summer Rae ended up stink-facing Lana with the fish.
That's awesome.
Oh no, I got it wrong. Lana stink-face Summer Rae with the fish.
Oh, she got her. Oh man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see someone get a fish in the face. But Lana is great to root for.
Yeah, no, this is actually good, and this made me more excited for the actual match, which at first I was like,
Yeah, Rusev is a guy that you see so much potential in, and is just
no,
such
Rusev is the best. Rusev is the best babyface on the roster.
Yeah, he's such an incredible guy, and
Rusev, the evil Russian, is the best babyface on the roster. It's great.
Yeah, they.
And I'm not sure if he's just unintentionally really good at it, or like I'm beginning to think that just like him, the person, is just kind of goofy, and it's just coming out way more.
Yeah, it is. It's more of his personality. Like I said, he just seems likable. Like you just can't deny it that the guy is likable. As much as he would even try to put on an act, it's still coming through now. Especially when he was injured, all the tables turned. And I was worried about him, and I wish he wouldn't have had to go the route he did against Cena. But it still is proof that he is great at what he does because even in this really weird girlfriend boyfriend silly like petty little feud, it's still something you want to see.
I don't know, like I genuinely love like the big dumb over the top Russian communist thing. It's just really funny that we're still doing it in 2015. And
Yeah.
As soon as he finally got away from Jack Swagger, I thought like this guy's great. And I'm just kind of glad that because that gimmick had to die eventually, or else he can't never lose. And then the problem was they had no one that would make sense to beat him.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise
like,
he would have to take over the company.
The way they did it, Cena was the only guy who would in theory make sense beating him. So they kind of had to do that eventually.
Yeah, it seems like I guess they were building him up so much, and then Cena kind of shut it down. Like, well, he's not the best. He's not absolutely unstoppable. He's good as hell, but he's not unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
because you're right. When you set up a guy that never loses, it can get out of your hand if you don't play it right. Then
yeah,
it's like,
the problem is if you start a streak and then gimmick-wise don't have anyone that makes sense to beat it, like is what happened with this one. So I guess in some weird world, I think they would have done Roman Reigns for this one first and then had him beat Brock at SummerSlam, and it might have been better.
Sure.
And I think that could have worked, but at the immediate time with how they were planning everything else, it was Cena or no one.
Yeah. I mean, now that we're away from it, I know I belly ached quite a bit with the way that he was treated, or the way that all went down. But as long as he's still on the screen, is all I care about. Because he's making it work.
Yeah,
like I said,
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, it's nice to see him out there, and it's good to know he's going to keep wrestling, and he's not just some sort of monster that got squashed and then disappears. What's our remaining matches?
Okay, then we go into a tag team match between the Lucha Dragons and the Matadors. Let's see who won. I don't even remember. Like,
That's
this
fine.
was one I was fading in and out of.
Yeah, that's
And just
unfortunate.
looking at other stuff until the New Day came out, and then it's great. It's the New Day, the greatest things ever.
Yeah, they're doing they're
Yeah.
doing a really good job. I still am confused as to why they didn't get the belts back at Battleground.
I don't know, but I'm just glad they're still like featured on the show, which means they're probably gonna get them back.
Yeah, their triumph seems pretty imperative because it just adds so much more to what they do. They're on fire right now with being.
They're like even they can be semi feuding with the Matadors, and it's still funny to watch.
Yeah, they make it work. Everything, it all works. Like they have the same like charisma, the same loose type of attitude with it. Like the entire package works any way they've done it. That's why I was so confused about that win at Battlegrounds, because it doesn't seem like they're willing to invest enough in primetime players to make them like an over the top like baby face, like really squeaky clean, like just you want to root for them. They won't even let them talk. Like they won't let them go out there and get us fired up for them. I would, primetime players is very easy to get excited for, and they have that dance, which is awesome, and they have good music. But it's just like I think they need to let them go out there and say, "Hey, we're running this division for people that that want to do win this legitimately, or want to our athletes. Titus, with his size and background, can talk about being an athlete. It just seems like they have something on their hands, and they're not letting them. They're not really loosening the reins on them. I think, our wrestling coverage that I've done via podcasting, I've talked extensively about Big E and how big of a fan I am of his Instagram account and how good he is on that. And, he donned the red, white, and blue singlet to take on Rusev to get his ass kicked even. But now where he's at, like the more they let him do what he does best, it's like it's working. It's like making New Day that next level thing by allowing these guys to show off their personalities, which is what we tune in the first place for.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what else to say on this one here. What would I say? Did I figure out who won? Well, I'm gonna have to Google this again quickly.
The Lucha Dragons and El Matadores.
Yeah, I mean, most Matadores. You gotta know your Spanish.
I don't. I mean, I don't know my pronouns or whatever they are. I don't even know English grammar, to be honest. Yeah, Lucha Dragons is a team like NXT. People like them, and I just don't think Lucha has any place in the WWE. Even with the popularity of Lucha Underground, it just seems like they'll never be able to get it right. I mean, Rey Mysterio obviously had a big impact, but I don't know why they just can't make it something that they've got. They've got Kalisto as like one of the best guys they could have in their whole roster, and they still just can't make it into something that is a part of the show. I feel like a meaningful part of the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. They were. I don't care about Sin Cara, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, he's a tough sell, man. But
like it's not that Kalisto's bad. It's just that wherever else he'd probably be a lot better, and he's not doing anything here. So I just don't know why I'd care.
Yeah, it seems like he could probably just do better going back to Chikara or Dragon Gate or anything else where he could be appreciated instead of doing that gimmick that he has going on in the WWE.
I don't know. They could still use him if they ever want to. I just don't know if they want. I think they just think he's too small.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, that sounds like them.
So what's our next match? We don't need to know what happened with that
well,
one.
no, there was a Bray Wyatt promo, and he said something, and then he said, like, Luke Harper is a good friend who would do anything for him, and is Ambrose the same way for Roman Reigns?
So what could this possibly mean? Is he willing to tag for him?
You know, it's one of those things that, in theory, Bray Wyatt would, it'd be like a moral question for Ambrose if he'll do this match he doesn't need to for no reason.
Sure, is he going to be selfless?
They won't run with that because he's just going to right away say, yeah, I'll do it. Because everyone knows he's going to do it because that's what they set up the match as already, and they already made it too obvious.
Yeah, they that Bray Wyatt character is just such a. I mean, they've done such a bad job of making it interesting, or what I think, what they believe they're putting out there is not what actually is coming across, and they could, with some very simple changes, make it into like what you said. Without putting it out there, just read a comic book. Read about like all these guys that you're stealing from, the Joker and any like anti-hero type fellow that you're into, Tyler Durden or whatever it is. Just take a second to figure out how to have a little bit slower of a burn, or at least to have something that makes sense.
Yeah, or at least have it actually be one.
Yeah, that's the other problem too, where it just becomes the nonsense language. You're like, oh wow, this is going to go somewhere, and then it just goes into nonsense. It just goes into ellipsis points. I don't get what they're going to do with him, or what. Like, it seems like they feel like he's serious, and that he should be like a major contender, but they just don't treat him that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they do, and he still doesn't. Well, he also always loses, which is the problem.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like they put him out there as a threat, but he's just not a threat. He doesn't
no
win.
One buys him.
And then they give him a win out of nowhere, and you think it's going to be something. I don't know where he goes with this Roman Reigns, victory. What does that mean?
I'm assuming that there's the tag match at SummerSlam, or the 3-man tag, or whatever they're trying to do.
That's fine.
And then he finally gets his win back at whatever one's at Night of Champions.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah, that's my guess. I guess this part of the story is supposed to be about, does Roman have friends and does he have people that like him? And then the answer will be yeah, and then can he beat him? And then he will.
Yeah, it's like, does this dude have real bros or not?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what the story's supposed to be.
They've turned. I don't know how they turned him into that, but it was like overnight.
It's weird.
It was just like me and Dean, man. We're best buddies. We're like middle school best buddies.
Yeah, it's like we're old pals, and yeah.
So where do we go next here in the wild world of the WWE?
Up next, we have Becky Lynch and Charlotte versus Nikki Bella and Alicia Fox. And I don't know, Becky Lynch got the pin on Alicia. I don't remember what else happened.
Okay.
It was really short.
I like that. I mean, that's a decent setup, I guess. Seems a little one-sided, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Alicia Fox, how much they're investing in her,
Well, Alicia Fox tapped.
Yeah, she's the Captain New Japan. She's the person that has to take the hit. She loses. She takes the hit, which, I mean, valiantly, of course, and I.
She's the woman Dean Ambrose.
Looks tough as hell and has a lot to say and a lot of attitude, but just can't really make it happen in the ring. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to see how this all plays out. These edition of the NXT division is still, I don't know. It still seems like up in the air, like whether this is awesome or whether it's going to be.
This was not awesome.
I understand that.
This happened. This was a normal show women's match. It had no time. It didn't matter.
Right, that's what I mean. So I guess I guess I'm wondering if now the new era is we move into 10, 20-minute matches, 10 and 20-minute Diva match, and then we get the normal 3 to 10, little advertisement for Total Divas.
Yeah.
That might be the women's revolution in wrestling for the
Well,
WWE.
Eva Marie is the women's revolution.
Oh, I follow her on Snapchat. I want to believe in her so hardcore, but it just doesn't work.
No, she's incredible. She does a sliced bread number 2 that she calls the sliced red number 2. Ava Marie is...
I like a good pun.
Yeah, no, she's the best because they didn't teach her how to do anything but random indie spots. So like she can do a tornado DDT, but she doesn't know how to sell a punch, and it's just so funny to watch. Because she does the thing she knows how to do really well.
Yeah, she's just making it through. Like she just gets arm dragged, takes a couple of punches, and then she gets to do her thing. Whatever she's been prepping for. So what's our next showdown here on Raw?
Okay. The next thing was Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, which was
didn't deliver.
No, I don't know. If Randy Orton is like, remember how we said Cena would take all the ridiculous moves so the match is interesting?
Uh-huh.
Well, Randy Orton did not really take a lot of the really cool stuff, and
yeah, I can imagine.
It was just kind of the dumbed down version of the recent ones.
Yeah, just a ham-fisted kind of thing. I can imagine that being the case. Randy Orton is in a weird place right now. I mean, he's been...
It's Randy Orton gets paid a lot of money, and Randy Orton doesn't need to risk breaking his neck.
Yeah, he's got that early Legends contract.
Yeah.
He's looking at retirement. He's like, yeah, he's about to retire from the police force, and so he's not going to take the tough job.
No, he doesn't have to do that. That's not what he's there for. So it was okay. Sheamus DQ'd him. And so no one really lost, at least.
Wait, so how did Sheamus...
Then Cesaro came down, and Owens laid out Cesaro. It's like they combine these two feuds for some reason, so now I really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, the triple threat that they did for some reason sent all of their bookings haywire, where they were all of a sudden these guys have to be together. It sounds like.
Yeah, I just don't know why. It looks like they're merging this into one match. I don't know why they're not going to do two big ones.
I do have to say that now, when I tuned in and watched that triple threat, when I first saw it for the first time, that Cesaro really, to me, is such a most improved. Every single time that he comes out, he looks better than before. He's learned something new, or his look has been adjusted. That guy's been a constant state of renewal, and I hope just can get some sort of top tier spot. He's a good ambassador for wrestling. The guy, has a great look, has all the skill, and really can make it a brutal respectable type thing in my eyes.
Yeah, no, he's great, and I just don't know. I hope they actually stick to pushing him again, and they're not just doing it because his best friend just got his spine crippled.
He almost got paralyzed forever.
Yeah, I hope it's not just a pity push, and they actually stick with it.
Yeah, I feel like the people that moan and complain about the Kevin Owens situation, or about anyone's situation really, is that they do kind of seem like a pay your dues type company, and Cesaro has from being the Swiss Superman to with Jeb and all that, or Zeb Colter, not Jeb. Not Jeb Coulter. That's Jeb Bush I was thinking of.
I'm thinking
Zeb.
of Bush. Your favorite candidate for 2015?
Yeah, my guy. He likes a good taco. I have that in common with him. He likes a good guacamole. But Zeb Coulter, he has so many iterations, and it just seems like he is destined for greatness. And hopefully, if he can get at least the Kevin Owens treatment of being a serious contender, as we mentioned earlier in this show, like, reboot him right now. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. Just pretend like this guy has always been the strongest man that's been out there, and really give him something.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do, because he is really, really good. And at least, like I said, this match with Orton was kind of boring. At least, if it's those two at SummerSlam, they'll do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be a matter of just making it technically look good, even. If Randy Orton doesn't want to get bounced around, if he doesn't want to have an exploder suplex done on him or anything like that, he can just, get a dressing down from Cesaro in like a fucking classic wrestling suplex your ass style, just clean moves. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You never know, man. It just seems. I mean, it's so funny because whenever I listen to what we record from a few months ago, it seems it's just not even related to what's going on later.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't even know what they're doing.
I hope it's going to be good. Let's just say it's going to be good.
I don't know. SummerSlam will be good. I am confident that it will be good.
So was that the main event there?
No, the main event was John Cena defeats Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, you told me that. You did tell me that earlier. Yeah, so that happened. Was the match good?
Yeah, it was good. Rollins broke Cena's nose.
In real life?
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. I think it's a good match. I wish they would have waited.
But yeah, this was Cena's title defense, and he defended, and so they weren't going to let him lose the belts yet. He had to wait.
Okay.
And since Rollins' belt wasn't on the line, he can lose, which, knowing them, this means Rollins is winning as of now, but that can change.
So the stipulation for SummerSlam, it's not going to be unification.
But it's guy gets both belts.
What's that?
It's just the guy gets both.
Oh, it is. Okay, they are actually they're putting both titles on the line. I didn't know if it was just the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be intriguing because I don't know if they understand what they're doing here with the United States Championship. I mean, giving it to John Cena was obviously a great idea, but how do they carry it? How do they keep their prestige?
Do they have a guy that they can lose it to? Or is he just going to keep this belt for a year until they pick who's the next big thing?
Yeah, does it no longer be like John Cena's prop?
Yeah.
It is just like back to the hot potato.
Or does Cena hold it or does Cena break the record for longest time held and then retire it or something? I don't know. Or retire with it? I don't know.
Yeah, they really, man, they just sorry, I'm getting the hiccups here. They get themselves into a corner, and it's hard to figure out what's going to happen. But it's the exciting world of WWE sports entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, we will always be sports entertained.
I can't get enough of it, especially after that Battlegrounds. I wish I could have gone in. You and Murder Brian on Twitter, and Travis, Obscure Memory, actually did a live reactions to Battlegrounds, which was a real mind fuck.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Luckily, they redeemed the Undertaker stuff the next day.
Yeah, that was a big development, and it really did a
I
good
think
job.
that's what really saved this is just how good they did the brawl.
Yeah, it was really hard to believe that they could. I think I was pretty down, but once I saw them trying to break up that fight between those two, I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, like they really, like they have the mood going into the show great.
It's exactly what people want to see, that next level elevation of excitement and like anticipation and everything. Like you know, which way is it gonna go? Which way is it gonna go?
So yeah, like at least that's gonna be good. Like I legitimately have no idea who's winning that one too.
Yeah, it
Like
feels
this show is shaping up to a lot of matches that are there's not going to be a clear winner going into them.
Those are the ones I like as well, because just when the bell rings, you're like, you're like, oh my god,
like
it's gonna happen.
I'm actually compelled to watch this because I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, this is going to be decided right now. Like I get to see live what actually happens. I've been running it over in my mind, all the different ways that this could go down, but and now we get to see it. So, is there anything else you wanted to get in here before we head off?
No, I think we're good. My computer's gonna die soon, so.
That's cool. I got hiccups real bad. I don't know what, they just came out of nowhere. I think all this Budweiser I've been drinking has something to do with it. But thank you, anyone that's made it this far into listening to Freebird Rules Radio. We are going to be a wrestling podcast, and actually are a wrestling podcast of a rotating cast of hosts that will bring you, content each week covering Ring of Honor, covering WWE, covering New Japan. So look for all of that coming forward. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Brett Payne, BRETTPAIN. He's at Duyarvish, DUYARVISH. And if you want to look for more Street Fight WCRS on Twitter, we'll have the first updates regarding what we're doing as we move forward. And thank you. Let us know you enjoyed it, or that you at least listened in. We want to hear what you think, because we're just confused as you are, and we're not coming to you as experts. We're just regular people that like wrestling. So we'll see y'all next time. Peace. Oh my God, those hiccups are terrible.
Damn it.
Hiccups are that's probably the first thing you're not supposed to get on the air, they say, when you become a broadcaster.
Yeah, that just seems so awful.
Well, thanks for recording, man. I appreciate taking the time to do this.
No problem. I'm up anyway.
Yeah, and it worked out well, too. I enjoyed what we did. There's plenty to get into with WWE, obviously. You never know what you're going to get into, really.
Yeah, and we should do another show soon. We didn't talk about the Ring of Honor show, and we'll at the end of G1 we can do that.
Yeah, I will start figuring out when we can start scheduling the G1 stuff, but I think we should try to have, by the end of this week at least, a response for the Ring of Honor coverage, because nobody covers Ring of Honor solo. I mean, there's not a good podcast for that. So let me get Brian on the phone or whatever, and see what he thinks, if he wants to record. But we'll try to do something later this week. Me and Brian are going to record Tuesday and Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday probably would be open, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But we can do it that way. And we can keep working. We have to have content. The thing about the iTunes feed is you have to have content for them to add it. So right now we can't. We don't show up in the search. Like, you can subscribe to it on an iPod or iPhone, but it just doesn't show up in the podcast search because there isn't enough data for it yet. But of course, we're going to spread it as much as we can. I'll put it on the Street Fight feed as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So I guess I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, it's about time to go to sleep because I fell asleep during that at one point.
All right, peace.
All right, have a good one, man.